Hello there and welcome to another Coffee with Colm, and thank you for joining me. I mentioned a few weeks ago on this Coffee with Colm series that I jumped out of an airplane twice, and the second time the parachute didn't open. And a few people came back to me and said, tell us more about that, so I thought I would do so today. And so the background to it was I decided many years ago that I'd love to do a parachute jump, and first time out it was just great fun. The only time that I was nervous was when I had to sort of bum across the floor of this little plane and open the door, slide open the door, and I saw these little puffy clouds floating past, and I thought, what the heck am I doing here? But I was there, and I was strapped to a professional skydiver who knew what he was doing. Of course, I was just a rookie, but I was really just a passenger, let's be honest, okay? And we rocked back and forth. He held my head back, and we exited a perfectly good plane 2 miles up, 10,000 feet. And it just, such a buzz. I can't describe it, such a buzz. Anybody out there who's done it knows what I'm talking about. Anybody who hasn't probably doesn't know what I'm talking about and are probably thinking, you know what, I don't want to know, I'm fine. So I went back a second time. And the second time, folks, my parachute didn't open. Now, it was the same situation, bummed across, fella strapped to my back, professional skydiver, and out we went, same thing, head held back, rocked back and forth, and we exited a perfectly good plane, and we started plummeting towards Earth, which is what happens, and you see this, such a rush, that the Earth flying up towards you, and it's just noise and adrenaline and buzz, and it was just fantastic. Exactly the same as my first time out. Of course, my man was videoing me. That was the whole plan. He was going to video me, the little camera on his wrist, and he was videoing me. And the next thing I hear an expletive from my man, and I'm thinking, that doesn't sound good now. That's not going to sound good on my video. But I heard an expletive, and the next thing I saw some cables dangling here in front of my face. I thought, that doesn't feel right either. And then all of a sudden a parachute was deployed, and we slowed down, and I saw something fall to the earth from us, right? And realised afterwards that what had fallen to earth was in fact our main parachute. Okay, it had failed. For whatever reason, our main parachute failed, and thankfully, only because of his training and the backup system of a second parachute. Thankfully, I'm here to tell you the story today. So the question is, what did I learn from it? Somebody said, well, you learn not to go parachute jumping again, and I'm not sure. I may repeat it again at a time in the future. But I think the more important lessons for me included the fact that, firstly, I stepped outside my comfort zone. Life does begin at the edge of your comfort zone. And what the lesson I think you and I can take from this particular Coffee with Colm is that, we got to take risks. We got to step out there, step outside our comfort zone and take risks. If we want to achieve something other than the mundane, other than the norm, we got to step outside our comfort zone and take risks. But I think the lesson for me is that we've also got to have a plan B. We've got to have thought through the eventualities. What happens if it goes well, if our idea goes well? Happy days. What happens if it doesn't go well? What's our backup plan? What's our fallback plan? Have we considered it? Is there a contingency in place? Have we trained for it? The astronauts that go to space, they don't go to space and make it up when they're up there. They do all the training on the ground for whatever mission it is that they're going up to space for. They do all the training on the ground, have worked through every eventuality that they can think of, okay? And then go to space as prepared as they can. Jumping out of a plane is no different. Starting a business is no different. Making a career move is no different. Got to figure out what could go right and plan for that, and also we've got to ask ourselves what might go wrong and put in place a contingency plan for it. So big lesson, having jumped out of a plane for twice and the second time the parachute not opening, is make sure you've got a backup plan, make sure you've thought it through and that there's a contingency in place, and you should be fine. And thank you for joining me for this week's Coffee with Colm. I hope and trust as ever you got something from it. Most importantly, please consider what's been shared here today and apply it into your thinking for this next week. And then equally as importantly, come back next week. We'll share another coffee together and ruminate on some other aspect of life and business. Between now and then, get some great coffee, get some fresh air, get some R&R. If you spend a lot of time alone, I recommend you go meet some people. Conversely, if you spend a lot of time with people, I recommend you spend a little time alone. And then when the time is right, and only when the time is right, get your head back in the game, get organised for the week ahead, get stuck in, make next week count, make sure there's a contingency plan in place, and I'll see you here this time next week for another Coffee with Colm. Sláinte. I love great coffee. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.